In this video, I'm going to show you a great little rig called the 3-in-1 rig. I'm going to tell you how to tie it, and then we'll go out and catch some fish with it. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Fishing Around. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe for more fishing content. So today we are going to check out the 3-in-1 rig. Now this rig lets you fish 3 completely different methods, all without having to retie or break down your terminal tackle. It lets you fish the waggler, the running ledger and the float ledger rigs. It's a great rig for beginners. It's a great rig for people that just want one setup on a rod that lets them keep their options open over a day's session. So without any further messing around, let me show you exactly what you need to tie this rig. You will need a couple of these waggler floats. You'll need a loaded version and an unloaded version. You need a ledger. I use 1/2 ounce or 15 grams. And you need a snap link swivel to clip it to the line. You need a silicone quick change float adapter. You'll need some rubber float stops, sometimes they're also called gripper stops. You need a hook length. You could use hooks to nylon. I tie my own, and I've actually got a video coming soon where I talk about these ones that I tie. They're twizzled, so they're naturally anti-tangle. This particular one goes down to a Kamasan X Animal size 12 hook, barbless. You'll need an anti-tangle sleeve. The best place to find this in your local tackle shop is probably the specialist or carp section. You'll need a feeder bead. This will allow you to quickly change your hook length, and it will also act as a stop for your running ledger. Okay, so how do you tie the 3-in-1 rig? Well, we'll start with the float ledger setup. So you want to trap the silicone quick change adapter between 2 of the float stops, and that all goes on first. Then you want to thread on the snap link swivel with the ledger attached, and after that you thread on the anti-tangle sleeve with the wide end facing towards the swivel. Lastly, you tie on the feeder bead and you use a Palomar knot to tie that on. Right, so I've come down to one of my local venues today to see if we can catch using the 3-in-1 rig. So here I've set up with the float ledger setup like I've just shown you, and we're going to see if we can catch. You want to make sure you're using the unloaded float because you want the weight of the float to cock the ledger. Okay, so cast in where you want to fish, making sure to try and feather the cast so that the rig straightens out before it hits the water. You're going to let the rig settle, but the float will likely get held under by the weight of the ledger. So what you want to do is open the bail arm. This will let slack into the line and the float will rise to the surface. You want to put the rod in the rod rest, and then you want to wind down so that the float is dotted down nicely against the ledger, and then you're fishing. That's a lovely little rud on the 3-in-1 rig. If you're enjoying this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and come and check us out on Instagram. Okay, so we've been out and we've seen that the 3-in-1 rig will catch a fish when it's set up as a float ledger. Now the float ledger is excellent for if you really need to pin a bait to the bottom, if you're trying to pick out the bigger stamp of fish, or maybe if you want to ledger but you don't have a feeder rod or a quiver tip rod or a bite alarm and you don't really know how to touch ledger. Well, it's a perfect gateway, as it were, to that ledger style of fishing. It's excellent. However, what happens if you just want to use a normal waggler? Well, it's extremely simple with the 3-in-1 rig. All you do is you remove the waggler from the float adapter and you insert the loaded waggler. You then take the ledger and you unclip it from the SnapLink swivel, and that's it. There's your waggler rig. The weight of the swivel and the feeder bead and everything else will dot down, in general, most loaded floats, which have the majority of the weight at the bottom of the float anyway. So let's go out and see if the waggler rig will catch. Right, so let's see if the 3-in-1 rig will still catch when we're using just a normal waggler setup. Now, I've plumbed the depth and I've adjusted the float stop so that I'm fishing pretty much dead depth. I'm using double maggot and I'm just looking to catch anything that swims by. Let's cast out and see what we can catch. And it's a lovely baby perch. Let's get him back. Just so you can see here, I've cast out and the float is dotted down perfectly. And this one's another little perch, a bit bigger this time, but not going to win any awards. Lovely fish. Okay guys, so we've been out and we've caught fish using the 3-in-1 rig. We've used the float ledger setup and we've used the waggler setup, so let's talk about the running ledger setup. Simply remove the waggler from the quick change float adapter and you have a running ledger rig. You can also substitute the ledger for a cage feeder or a swim feeder and you have a feeder rig. Both these rigs are absolutely deadly, so let's go out and see what we can catch. Okay guys, we're back out on the bank. Let's see if the running ledger setup of the 3-in-1 rig will catch. This kind of rig is commonly fished with either a bite alarm or a quiver tip or feeder rod, or you could also touch ledger. Today for the video I'm going to use a bite alarm. The rod I'm using is the same rod that I've used for the whole video. It's a 7-foot spinning rod. It's nothing special. Let's see if it'll catch. And there we go, it's a lovely little perch. Small fish, but what a bite. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and please come and check us out on Instagram. Thanks and see you again.